I can get you guys to have some specific questions for any one of our candidates to come to the front. If you'd like to line up with Alice over here, we have a microphone, and I will direct the questions as you direct. I will let you know, though, that because we will have a number of questions there, that I would ask you to ask a specific question and not just to make comments, if I could. And I will hopefully gently move you along if the questions start to go on a bit long, anyway. But look, I think we have our first question, so Alice, if you could just hand that to the gentleman.
Thank you. Andrew Woodhouse from the Prosperity King's Cross Heritage Society. My question is to all candidates about lockout laws. Do you support the state government's initiative entirely in supporting life-saving lockout laws? And to Mr. Bartels, could I ask, since you've split your membership of the 201 Residents Association, why haven't you attended for the last 6 months?
Okay, I'm going to hand this microphone around, if you just pass it on. It's a microphone you have to speak into quite directly, if you could understand. Thank you.
That's a very good question. The lockout laws would probably be one of the most difficult social issues that this community is going to have to resolve. Now, just recently I went to a small business forum which was put on by 3 of the area's chambers of commerce. A very similar question came up at that forum. Now, what the community is going to have to... I didn't get to answer the question on that occasion because someone else changed the subject, but it's a question that I certainly welcome tonight. Look, public safety is only part of this. If we are going to eventually have a vibrant global city which is inclusive for everyone, we have to grapple with this question and we have to resolve it, and we have to make the city safe, but at the same time we need a fun, vibrant city where young people can go out, that they can feel safe late at night, they can have a drink, they don't excessively drink. We need to introduce layers of responsibility. The venue owners can do a hell of a lot to improve that. But to just say public safety is the only factor, it is not. Now,
Lindsay, could I just interrupt, because we've got a number of candidates, and if you could just perhaps come to a close with that answer.
I think the point is what we need to do is bring all the stakeholders together on this, and we need a really well-informed public debate where everyone can have their say and experts can then give advice to the people who make the decisions.
Thank you, Lindsay. Adrian.
Andrew, thank you for your question, I think. To answer the part about my non-attendance at the Residents Association, one of those meetings I was in New Zealand, the other I had a board meeting, the other one I was sick, the other 2 I can't remember. In relation to the lockout laws, but certainly I don't think you're implying that I haven't been an active member of the community more broadly. I don't think that's what you're implying, because I know that you value honesty. Certainly in terms of lockout laws, I understand obviously there's a Cullinan review at the moment, which at the moment you have cessation of service at 1:30 and you have lockouts at 1:30 and cessation of service at 3. I understand the police support merging the 2 of them to 3 a.m. Personally I would favour some exemptions for smaller or live music venues. On a merit-based system, if they can demonstrate that they're a good member of the community, but certainly more narrowly, if the 1:30 lockout was brought to 3 a.m. so that was a cessation of alcohol and also lockout at 3 a.m, then I personally would support that.
Thank you, Adrian. If you could just pass that to Linda.
Thanks. Andrew, I know you know this, but not all others may do. So I work at the University of Sydney now, but formerly I used to work for the Bureau of Crime Statistics, looking at alcohol-related crime and research. I think we would all share the view that years ago, before the lockout laws were introduced, the violence in King's Cross was really, really out of control. The current councillors have worked closely with the Kelly family, who have recently suffered yet another unspeakable tragedy in their family. And I think there was sound reason to have a dramatic intervention into that area. I want to make clear that this is, of course, though, a state issue, and so, of course, Labor is trying to very strongly focus on what council can do and playing a positive role for the future in council. But given you've asked the question, I think it is also important to note that the current parameters around the lockout laws are also causing great problems. The example where the casino, for example, has been exempted is clearly ludicrous. The arbitrary boundaries that have created problems on one side of Piedmont Bridge Road as opposed to the other, problems in Newtown that doesn't currently have the lockout laws, where we're seeing changes in people's patterns of behaviour. So these laws were introduced with arbitrary parameters that I don't think work. I think it's sensible that the review is happening and that the city should play a role in making submissions to that. But we also control a huge amount of other things in the city's nightlife that we should be looking at, like making sure that our restaurants can open for longer, making sure that we don't see the closure of all our live music performance venues because of noise complaints. There's a lot of other things apart from the lockout laws that we have responsibility for and that we can change about the city for the better. Thank you, Linda. Angela.
Thank you, and I do appreciate that we have lots of questions coming up, so I will try to be brief. I'm sure most of you have read that I did make a press release announcement regarding having a nightmare installed so that lots of different ideas could be considered, and the fact that what has taken place is another extreme. We've got an out of balance situation where some areas have the flexibility and others haven't. We've had a lack of genuine community consultation to actually install the kind of infrastructure that needs to be addressed. So our community, our young people, our not so young people like me too, can enjoy a global city. And that means that we should have workspaces that are open later. We should have live music venues. We should have, of course, cafes and restaurants that aren't locking doors at midnight. Because if at 10 or 11 o'clock you come out of a show, you should have options and choice. This is Sydney. We need it to be great. And we've lost a little bit of our mojo. But we can't forget safety. And we certainly can't forget residents. And the amenity and the livability of our city needs to be addressed and protected.
Thank you.
The question was, do I support what the government's done? And no, I don't. I think it was a sledgehammer. The city, and as local member, I've been raising the issues of the increasing crowds and violence in King's Cross for a number of years. Successive state governments have failed to take appropriate action, making lifetime licences available to venues so that there was no leverage for them to manage really rogue venues. So that was one of the basic problems. Another basic problem was no transport at night, no public transport at night. We developed a policy in the city called Open. We had a consultation right across the city, and we had significant policies. And I've just noted that in our action plan, we've already taken 16 actions on our action plan at council. We've developed a live music and performance action plan, increased CCTV, improved street lighting, 24-hour cleansing crews, improved the taxi ranks, and of course food trucks have made a real difference too. So we've done specific things that we can do, and many other things as well. We've put a comprehensive submission into the Callaghan inquiry, which I'm sure Andrew has looked at. And there we're saying there should be exemptions for well-managed venues. There should not be lifetime licences. There should be periodic licensing, so you can control who is running those venues if there are problems. And also, I think the other really important thing is you don't allow an area to get saturated and have cumulative impact, which happened in King's Cross, which caused such problems for the people who live there. So if you have that planning in place and you have public transport and you have periodic licensing, this would really address the issue and allow well-managed venues to operate, and all those thousands of people who are employed in our economy to have jobs, and people who want to go out late at night and socialise and not bash anyone up can do so in a civilised global city.
Thank you.